everyone, and welcome back to Coleman Right Along, a podcast where we watch Dabney Coleman movies 9 to 5 minutes at a time and talk about them a lot. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, this is Moving Right Along, a Muppet movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com, where we are watching The Muppets Take Manhattan 2 minutes at a time. I'm your host, Anthony Strand.
And I'm your other host, Ryan Roe.
And back with us once again is one of our favorite guests. He's kind of like our dad. Who are you, Dad?
Hi, I'm Danny Horn. I started Tough Pigs, and now I write about Dark Shadows, and I love the Muppets, and I'm so glad to be here.
And we're always happy to have you.
Yeah.
Yay.
So today we are actually looking at minutes 7 and 8. In these minutes, the Muppets arrive in New York, settle into their bus lockers, and go to their first audition, which is with, that's right, the man himself, Dabney Coleman. So it wasn't just a non sequitur.
You are so excited to be talking about Dabney Coleman.
I know, it's nice. It's fun to see you doing this.
I love it. Here's the thing. I love that guy. I always have. And I think this movie is why. Like, I know normally we go chronologically here, but
yeah,
I couldn't hold back.
Just do it.
Talking about my man, Dabney Coleman.
Tell me why he's great.
Well, in the 80s and 90s, he starred in a series of sitcoms that all flopped.
Yes.
Buffalo Bill, where he played a grumpy talk show host, which was right before this. That was created by Tom Paget and Jay Tarsis, who co-wrote this movie.
Oh, yeah.
So that's probably why he's in this.
Right.
But he played a grumpy talk show host there. Then in 1987, the Slap Maxwell story, where he played a grumpy sports writer.
Yeah.
And then in 1991, Drexel's Class, where he played a grumpy teacher. And finally, in 1994, Madman of the People, where he played a grumpy newspaper editor.
Yes.
And so it's like there's like this 11-year period where Dabney Coleman was on TV. Like, they just kept trying to make this like Dabney Coleman is a grumpy man sitcom happen, and it never worked.
Yeah.
And I always think of him as being sort of perpetually, well, I mean, he's old now, but perpetually middle-aged. Like he was born middle-aged, I think. Right,
for sure. Well, I think the first time I've ever seen him is Towering Inferno.
Okay.
And that's 1974, so he's 42 years old.
I actually don't remember him being in that.
He's one of the guests at the Towering Inferno.
Okay.
And
I know that when he did like Buffalo Bill and then Slap Maxwell, and neither of those shows did well at all, and I think probably got canceled before, like, not that many episodes in, right? Well, like, they were famous at the time for like really not working.
Well, Buffalo Bill was really famous for being like the first American show where the lead character was completely unlikable.
Yeah.
It was critically beloved, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so people talked about that at the time a lot. So there were all these articles about how like America doesn't want to watch, shows that have people who are unlikable as the lead character. And then there was Seinfeld, and then there was Breaking Bad, and then there was like,
and now every show is unlikable characters.
It's basically, it's all just terrible.
Right. Although, like, I remember even when I was in middle school, probably 1998 or something, TV Guide did a list of the 50 greatest episodes or 100 greatest episodes of television, I think. And there was a Buffalo Bill episode on there. So I remember reading about that at the time and just being like, boy, Buffalo Bill must be the greatest. And I actually bought the DVD when I was in college and watched all, I think there's 26 episodes or something.
Yeah.
I watched them all, and it's pretty good. It's like it's kind of like what the Mary Tyler Moore Show would be if Ted was the main character and like
Mary Tyler Moore. Yeah.
But like if like Ted was openly malicious instead of just being an idiot and was the star,
Right. Yeah. So just looking at him. So I haven't quite got to the part of this story yet where I understand why you really like him. That hasn't kicked in yet at all.
I mean, he kind of only does one thing, but he's really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, even as a kid, I was like a big fan of just character actors in general. Like, if there was like somebody who I saw all the time, like being memorable in comedy, especially, I would just be like, Now I'm blanking on who some of the other examples are, but like
Paul
Phil
Dooley.
Hartman was, Paul Dooley, love him, but like Phil Hartman was my favorite guy on SNL, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like Adam Sandler, like everybody else my age.
It wasn't the breakout star. It was
It was like the utility man.
Yeah.
You know.
So what was he in that you really liked besides Muppets Take Manhattan?
Well, Muppets Take Manhattan, and then I was watching Madman of the People when it was on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then my mom loves You've Got Mail, a movie that came out when I was 13. And I didn't love it, but I did love Dabney Coleman in it.
Is he like
he's Tom Hanks' dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
He's Tom Hanks' and actually John Randolph from the Bob Newhart Show, Emily's dad on the Bob Newhart Show, is Dabney Coleman's dad in that.
Right. Yeah, so I gotta watch that again.
So it was like the only fun thing about that movie was all these old character actors.
Right.
You know, Jean Stapleton is in it. You know, she works for Meg Ryan.
I like the part where they get stuck in the elevator and everybody tries to jump at the same time to make the elevator go again.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But yeah, so that was like all I cared about when I was 13 or 14 watching that movie was who the old familiar faces are.
Yeah.
I feel like Ryan and I are just on like a boat cruise right now. And we're just
isn't that a great boat cruise?
We're just going down a river that is Anthony's love of Dabney
Aren't you so glad you got tickets to this cruise?
I am. I didn't realize. I'm surprised. I didn't realize that was what I bought a ticket for. But you're right. I am glad I'm here.
And I mentioned 9 to 5 up top, but that's a movie I always really loved. Too.
9 to 5. Yeah.
And he's great in that. He's the sexist, egotistical boss that our three heroes all get revenge on. And he's great at, again, he's playing a jerk, you hate him, but he's just really good at being someone that is fun to watch that you hate.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
He's doing that here again as Martin Price, a theatrical producer. But we'll get to him again later, I suppose.
All right.
Stay tuned, everyone.
So we actually start out with a shot of the New York City skyline. But it turns out to be a poster hanging up at the bus station.
Just a poster.
Which, like, that's a pretty funny joke. But the last two movies have real arrivals in Los Angeles and in London.
Yeah.
Where, like, the Muppets are driving around looking at how pretty the city is.
And here you just see the bus station.
You just see the bus station.
Yeah.
But what I love is that they react the same way.
Yes. Right. I think that's the joke, is that it seems like it's exciting, and then we as the audience realize that it's really mundane. And also they're at the Port Authority bus terminal, which is one of the worst places in New York City. But it doesn't matter to the Muppets. They're so excited to be there. This is New York to them. This is their dream.
Right. They're still, like, Fozzie says, look at everything here. And Piggy, my absolute favorite is that Piggy says, look how gorgeous everything is.
Yes.
And she says that over a shot of bored passengers waiting for a bus.
Like, there's like a guy sweeping and Kermit says something like, oh yeah, and there's so many New Yorkers here. Like, it's
so good.
Can I actually, so I thought I'd tell you a little bit about like my personal relationship with this movie, because that's a thing that I do.
We usually do that at the end, but you know what? Let's do it now. We moved Dabney Coleman up front. Let's move this up front too.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this. That like this movie is super weird for me, because there was 3 years of my life when I was not a Muppet fan, and this is like smack in the middle of that.
Whoa.
Like I was like the biggest Muppet fan in the world, all through like the Muppet Show, obviously, 81, 82, and then I didn't. So like several things happened, like 1982, 1983. I couldn't watch Fraggle Rock because it was on HBO and I didn't have HBO. I did see The Dark Crystal and I did not like it.
Yeah.
And then I started high school and I figured out that I was gay. And my parents, who had been like telling me that I was going to outgrow Muppets eventually, I figured like, okay, well now I guess that happened. And so that was like this period where I was really like questioning myself, and I took all of my Muppet stuff and I like literally put it in the closet. Like just packed it up. That all went in the closet for 3 years. And so I was thinking about that today, because so I didn't see Muppets Take Manhattan in the theaters in 1984. Like I didn't see it until I was in college, like years later. And so I was trying to think of like, well, so when was that? And I looked at like when all the Muppet productions were, and I realized that I know exactly like what that period of my life was. That it started like right after Dark Crystal in 1982, because then I missed Rocky Mountain Holiday, which you guys just talked about, in 83. I missed Muppets Take Manhattan. I missed the Muppet Babies. Like Muppet Babies came out, and that did not help me at all.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no.
Sure.
Yeah, like if
this
is my like high school like
person
I've
moving on with your
outgrown
life.
Muppets. Yeah, that was not helpful. Follow That Bird came out in 85, and I didn't see that. But then I saw, almost by accident, I think, an episode of Little Muppet Monsters, like one of the three.
No kidding.
And it just like, and the Muppets were hardly in it.
Right.
You know, it's like in the theme song, like you see the Electric Mayhem, and I just saw them, and like I got really homesick for like this person that I used to be, and so that got me. And then I just started, and so like everything from then on, like I'm back in like Muppet fan. So I can like date. I didn't realize it. So it's like, oh, September 1982 to September 1985. Oh, those are the 3 years I didn't like myself.
Wow.
I know. And so, but like, and everything worked out, by the way. It was great. I'm fine. But the thing that's funny for me is I don't have like a nostalgic view of this film. I saw it like when I was in college on video. And you know, like the Muppet movie, I have this really super close connection because that fills this place in my childhood and Great Muppet Caper. And I don't feel that way about Muppets Take Manhattan at all. And it's not as good.
Well, it's
so I think that's like a weird thing because I like so many people like because it was the one that I think was most available on video.
Right, and also it was on TV a lot. Like people around my age, I think for a lot of people, the reason this is their favorite is just because they saw it the most because it was always on TV.
If you could turn on WGN on a Saturday in the early 90s, it was Muppets Take Manhattan. I mean, all the time.
Yes. And so for the, like, for people who were kids then. And so it was very funny for me. Like once I, like, we started Tough Pigs and like got involved and met all you guys, you know, that I met like all of these people where Muppets Take Manhattan was their like on ramp to liking the Muppets. And it was like it was always like the weird thing. I actually, now to think about it, like I kind of hid the fact that like I didn't see it when I first came, like, and I don't have that feeling about it. And I was just like, okay, I guess that's a thing that everybody else that was everybody else's gateway drug. So I don't know. That's not a point to that story. I just wanted to tell it.
No, that's great.
That's really interesting. And I think it's very good. I think it's very funny. I would never rank it higher than third among all the Muppet movies. So
I would never rank it higher than fourth, actually, because I would also put Christmas Carol ahead of it. But
yeah. I mean, I changed my mind. Like, I think even between this and Christmas Carol and Muppets Most Wanted for my number 3 slot might change from time to time.
I mean, I do like it quite a bit, but I think this joke in the bus station, which again is a funny joke that the Muppets are excited about being in the Port Authority bus terminal, as excited as they are to see, you know, the Tower of London or Hollywood and Vine or whatever. But it also definitely makes this feel like a cheaper movie, right? Yeah. Like we're not out there like shooting all these. I mean, and there are exteriors.
They do that. They do it later. Yeah,
they do it later, right?
But but you're right. But they don't like they do it later, where like you see what he goes up on the Empire State Building, and like that's a huge
right, which is great.
I think, but it doesn't. But that happens way late,
right? And I mean, the main thing for me is that this movie is so focused on a very small group of characters for most of it, as we will see. That I love that scenes like this have more of the gang just kind of like hanging out. You know, I think that stuff's great. Yeah. But like when it's just like Kermit and Rizzo are the only 2 Muppets on screen, it's a little strange later. Yeah. I don't know.
It's them and Jenny. Yeah.
Right. But
but I love these 2 minutes. Like these 2 minutes. I'm glad that we're talking about this part. And something that I think is incredible that I noticed now, like watching this clip like over and over, is how unbelievably fast it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It just throws them right in there.
So
right.
far.
A lot happens very early on.
And within 2 minutes, we're from their arrival in New York to
all the way inside the.
And just the fact that we're only 7.5 minutes into the movie when they get to Martin Price's office.
Yes.
Right.
which took them like the whole movie in the Muppet movie.
Yes,
that's right. That's right.
So I looked at how the timing went, and it's unbelievable. Like they're in the bus station for 20 seconds. Then they do the lockers, and that's 30 seconds. Then they say, "Hey, we're on Broadway," and we see like the newspaper, and they walk across the street, and that's 10 seconds. So that's 1 minute from like arrival to now we're in the thing. Hanging out with the Beverly Crusher secretary, 30 seconds. Go to see Dabney Coleman, 30 seconds. And so like that 30 seconds when they're sitting in the lockers is basically Happiness Hotel. Which is like at least 4 minutes in Great Muppet Caper now condensed down. It's like the same joke basically condensed down to like 30 seconds, and then we go.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It is that they've done all this stuff before, so they don't need to do it again. Yeah. It can be the Cliff Notes version.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so Scooter says they need to dump their stuff and find some place to stay. Find a place to stay. And what I love about this is they go over to the bus lockers. They're all so excited to be staying in bus lockers. And Kermit, just this commanding delivery from Kermit. Scooter bust out the quarters. Like you mentioned that Dr. Crusher is just about to show up. Yes. But Kermit delivers this line like he's Captain Picard. Like he delivers it like he's Patrick Stewart, just being like, number one, engage, right? But it's Scooter bust out those quarters. So then they all stay in the bus lockers. They're all excited. Like one of the things I love about these 2 minutes is how much the Muppets just chatter excitedly about.
Right. Yeah, they're super high energy.
It's to be in New York. They're chattering. To be in the lockers. Like when they get to the office, it's just everything. They're all just
they're just so happy to be there.
So it's so great,
Yeah, I love like in that locker. Like so, actually, this is probably something that like in this 2 minutes, I'm really enjoying it. But I think like once we get to that part later, when like everybody's split up and it's mostly just like Kermit and Rizzo and the pizza guy, you think back to this locker and you're like, wait, so we only saw them like having all of those Muppets having all of that fun for 30 seconds.
Right.
And then it was gone, and now we don't get that anymore. But for these 30 seconds, it's so cute to see them all.
Right. They're all, Rolf is hanging upside down.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And so here's something I wanted to bring up. People will ask, like, how did they do that about things like Muppets riding bicycles? But this, for some reason, like nobody ever stops to think, how did they do this? Muppets all obviously being performed, they're all very alive in these bus lockers.
How did they crowd all of those people back there?
Yeah, there's an item at the Museum of the Moving Image that actually they've had on display since before they had the permanent Jim Henson gallery that's there now. But it's this little model of the bus lockers. And in the front, they have these little Muppet figures in all the lockers. And then if you go around to look at it from the back, there are these little figures of puppeteers. And it shows like where each puppeteer will be standing to stick their hand through the back of this locker set to reach their character. And then on the floor below them is the monitors for them to look at. So I guess they probably built this on a soundstage just to do this one shot of them. And how many are cramped in back there? Like I actually forgot to count. Like how many Muppets are there? Yeah, I should have counted actually. Now the three of us are like, should we actually take podcast time? Like so that we're sitting here. The answer is yes. We're gonna do it. All right, Kermit, Piggy, Fozzie, Gonzo, Camilla, Scooter, and 12. Ralph. All right, fine. There you go. So that's a lot. Like Janice and Floyd, like, is that could be like two hands, like the same person with two hands? I don't know. Yeah, I wish I had a clearer photo. There's a picture on the Museum of the Moving Images website of this little model, but I don't have a clear picture of the front and the back. But yeah, like Gonzo, and I mean, does Camilla move in this shot? I'm not sure if she does. So that might be. Oh, she does a little bit, but that might be one person. Yeah, probably. One thing that I noticed is it's just the head. So they look super animated, but everybody's hands are like stuck to exactly where they are. Which you totally don't notice unless you look at it like a ton of times, like I just did preparing for this. Where like you're like, oh right, Piggy's hands like are kind of like one's up, on like the
shelf above her, and then the others like kind of down by her side, and just stays
Kermit's
there.
hands are like velcroed or safety pinned to his legs, I think. So
and like Fozzie is like kind of holding both of his hands in front of him and like leaning out. So all the hands stay there. But it's so cute, and they totally do look like so alive.
Yeah.
And
so you never question it.
Yeah.
Right, and we get some cute jokes in there too. Janice offers to trade with anybody who has a jacuzzi.
A jacuzzi.
Whoa, is Richard Hunt here?
No, Janice is here.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so then
this by the way, like this is them in poverty, which is the same. Like that's basically the Muppet story. Definitely in Muppet Caper and Muppets Take Manhattan. You start in like poverty and obscurity, and then over the course of the movie, you become famous. Mm-hmm. So they end up Muppet movie, like now they're famous movie stars. Great Muppet Caper, now they've cracked this big case, and so like because it's a new movie, we can't start with all these people like being rich and famous. So they go back to like obscurity. They have no money. They're staying in a bus locker. Like it's the rags to riches story, basically for like the third time with the same.
They just graduated college, so they're just starting out.
Yeah.
Huh. That is true. So, but then, see, even though they are in poverty, this is the key. Scooter confidently says, "We'll all be on Broadway tomorrow." Like
tomorrow,
they're not going to sell their show tomorrow. They are going to open their show on Broadway tomorrow.
Yes. He's being very optimistic,
and everybody agrees. Like they're all just like, "Yeah, yay, Broadway!" It's great.
They're very naive people.
So then next morning, we assume...
Well, hold on.
What?
I have a couple more things about the bus lockers.
Okay.
Great.
So perhaps if I could predict the future, maybe in a future episode, you will hear Anthony and myself speculating about how much it cost to rent a locker in Port Authority in the early 80s. So I went back in time to this episode. And I did some searching. I couldn't find a definitive answer of the time this movie was made, but I found a New York Times article from April 3rd, 1986, that mentioned Port Authority was adding 300 new lockers and raising the price to $1 for 12 hours.
Dang.
So it was probably just slightly less than that.
Like 75 cents or
384. Yeah. The actual purpose of the article was about the fact that Grand Central Terminal, the train station, was removing all of its lockers, either for security concerns or to discourage homeless people from keeping all their stuff there. But for some reason, Port Authority decided to add 300 more lockers. So
it's because they got Muppets staying in them.
Yeah, they know they want more Muppets.
They needed room for more Muppets. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the little Muppet Monsters had recently been put out of work.
Right.
So they needed somewhere to stay.
Absolutely.
Yes. Tug, Molly, and Boo had to stay somewhere.
Tug, Molly, and Boo.
Yes. But today,
just thinking about those three, just living in a bus locker.
Sure, they'd still be optimistic.
They're making TV shows in that bus locker still.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Today there are no lockers in Port Authority anymore. I think that happened after 9/11 for security reasons.
Oh, all right.
Also, in the March 7th, 1983 draft of the screenplay, it takes them a little longer to actually get to the point of the bus locker gag. First, they go to put the stuff in the lockers, and then Camilla suggests that they actually stay in the lockers themselves. Gonzo says it reminds her of her chicken coop. And Piggy and Floyd protest, but then when Kermit asks how much money they have and they realize they don't have enough for a hotel, Scooter says, this is only a quarter, so they stay in the lockers. And then...
It's way funnier when they're just all excited to do it.
Yeah, just get to the point. And here's the visual joke of them in the locker. And then there was a celebrity cameo, playing a policewoman who shows up and is like suspicious of all these characters staying in these lockers. She says there's no law against it, but there is a law against disturbing the peace. But they explain that they're only there temporarily, and she says, well, just as long as you leave enough lockers for other people. And then 4 or 5 humans who are described as bums poke their heads out of other lockers and say, we don't mind, it's fine, we're good here. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
No, that sounds terrible. That sounds like the worst. That sounds like but it's like I think Anthony, you were just saying of like the funny thing is just like the visual of them sitting in the lockers being happy, and like, do we really need like 5 minutes around?
No, you should get in and out of those as quickly as possible. Yeah.
And like, here's the thing: as much as I would have liked to have seen, let's say, Tyne Daly.
Tyne Daly as the policewoman?
I think Tyne Daly is much more the level of cameo that's in this movie.
I think you're right.
But yeah, sure, whoever. Let's say it's
Liberace. Yeah.
Sure, it's Liberace as a policewoman.
As a policewoman,
would have been nice, but
typecasting, really.
We don't need it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then, but I think they may have done a version of the gag with the other guys in the locker, because when Frank Oz did an appearance at the Museum of the Moving Image a few years ago, he talked about shooting a bit or a gag with two Little People actors in the lockers. And one of the actors brought his family to the premiere not knowing that he had been cut from the film.
Oh, buddy.
And Frank felt so bad about it that he said ever since then, every time he directs a movie, he personally calls any actor who gets cut to let them know. So,
and that's why Frank Oz directed Willow.
Right.
To make up for it.
Yeah, he felt so bad about.
He felt so bad for He gave them a starring role.
It's funny because Willow is actually directed by TV's Richie Cunningham, so yes. It wasn't TV's Miss Piggy, but it was a 70s
close enough
sitcom star.
So that concludes my copious notes on the bus lockers.
All right. Thank you. So then, yes, thank you, Ryan. Then the gang heads over to the Paramount building, 1501 Broadway, where who has an office at the Paramount building? That's right, Martin Price, theatrical producer Martin Price, played by Dabney Coleman, as we already discussed.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about his great work as the principal on Disney's Recess if you guys really want to.
Oh.
But we don't have
to. That's up to you. You're driving the Dabney Coleman boat.
There'll be more time for more Coleman next week, is the thing.
All right.
There will.
Okay.
He'll still be around. I'll talk about Disney's Recess then. Okay. But the Paramount building is a real building with actual Broadway offices in it.
It is. It's right in Times Square, actually. If you could look like across the street from where the Muppets are approaching the building, that's right in Times Square with all the billboards and everything. And there's a Bubba Gump Shrimp right next door to the right of this building today. And to the left is the Hard Rock Cafe.
Oh,
in the old Paramount Theater. Which, side note, unrelated to the Muppets, but I once went to a holiday party at the Hard Rock Cafe, and we got to hang out on the marquee, the old marquee of the Paramount Theater on this building.
Oh, that's cute.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I once went to Bubba Gump Shrimp in the Mall of America, and it was real bad.
How is that Bubba Gump Shrimp? Is it huge?
It is huge, and it's like they tell you trivia about the movie Forrest Gump while they're waiting on you. It's very strange.
Well, what else would you expect at Bubba Gump Shrimp?
But why? No, okay, let's not accept the premise of this restaurant at face value and assume that the entire experience of being in a Forrest Gump themed restaurant in the year 2017 or whatever this was is very strange.
I was feeling a little weird about my sad high school story. Was that story really interesting? I was kind of asking myself as I was trying desperately to wrap it up, and now I don't feel bad about that anymore. That is no longer the most boring story in this podcast.
I just want to know, Anthony. I just want to know if you raised the little flag on your table that says "Stop, Forrest, stop" to get the waiter to come to your table.
Yes.
Good.
I did. All right.
For the full experience.
So for the full experience, exactly. Yeah. So anyways, they go in.
So knock.
Go into Martin Price's office, and they meet his secretary, who, as you mentioned, Danny, is played by Cheryl McFadden. She's credited as Cheryl McFadden here. She's Gates McFadden on.
Oh, Gates McFadden. Right.
Do we know why she changed her billing?
I don't know. Maybe Gates seems more like a future Star Trek type name. We should say she's she's famous for playing the Doctor on Star Trek: The Next Generation, Dr. Beverly Crusher. But she did choreography on this movie and Labyrinth.
She also did some sort of choreography related work on The Dark Crystal and Dream Child, according to Muppet Wiki.
Huh.
Which I guess just like maybe helping the puppeteers with their movement with those huge puppets.
Yeah, isn't she on Labyrinth? Her credit is something like choreography and puppet movement coordinator or something, right?
That sounds right. Yeah, I mean there are no musical numbers in The Dark Crystal, so I guess it was just mostly that kind of movement stuff.
Right. But yeah, like in Labyrinth, whenever that scene where Jennifer Connelly gets to dance with David Bowie, and we all swoon because we wish that we were Jennifer Connelly. Yes. She choreographed that.
Yes.
TV's Dr. Crusher choreographed that number, which is violent.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but so
did she have like other acting jobs? Because all I know her from is Next Generation. I'm sure she did other stuff. She was really fun. I
was actually just thinking about. Like I said that to Ryan before you joined the recording, Danny. To me, and she has done other acting. Like she was on Mad About You a few times. She's been on some CBS procedurals as a guest just lately. But it feels like she's been a lot less prolific than most of that cast. You see Marina Sirtis a lot on TV. You see Jonathan Frakes or LeVar Burton all the time.
Yeah.
But I feel like you don't see Gates McFadden all that often. But
she's in this.
She's in this, and it feels like a celebrity cameo because she's Dr. Crusher from Star Trek.
Yeah, it's like post dated. Yeah,
right,
celebrity cameo.
Yeah, but it's not. And
but she doesn't. She doesn't get a lot to do here.
No, she doesn't do anything funny. But there are a lot of celebrity cameos in Muppet movies who don't really get anything funny to do. Elliot Gould is in 2 of them. He's in this one. He's not going to do anything funny. If you don't.
Well, he has a joke in this one. Well, or he's like the straight man to Kermit.
He's like the straight man to Kermit. Like when I was a kid, that didn't register for me. I wasn't like, that man was probably a movie star in the 70s. Like I was just that's a cop, Yeah. Whereas like Gregory Hines, you feel like that's a cameo because he's doing jokes, or Joan Rivers, or whatever.
But Cheryl McFadden does not really have time to do anything because, as I said, this is like super warp speed, if you will. Like through all these plot points, like that's because this is basically it's exactly the same thing as the Muppet movie, and in the Muppet movie, they have to like go on and on and on torturing Cloris Leachman.
Right,
Cloris Leachman I didn't look, but that's like it's like God, it must be like a minute and a half at least of like sitting in the waiting room annoying the receptionist before
that covered like pretty much an entire episode of this podcast.
They all shake around, getting their feathers all over their nostrils and stuff. Yeah.
Just like shaking their feathers is like that's an entire scene. And here they're just like boom, and now we're gonna sing you a song, and they talk super fast, which I really like a lot. Kind of knowing that they're very close to being thrown out of wherever they are.
Yeah, I like Kermit's little. We have a show called Manhattan Melodies. That he's gonna want to produce on Broadway. It's about a couple of kids who come to New York to get married, and it has a wonderful opening number that goes like this: "Hit it, guys!"
They launch into the opening number,
and then
which is great.
I like that.
But then Dabney Coleman or Martin Price hears them and is just like, "What's going on out there?" He calls her on the intercom. "What's going on out there?" She says, "Oh, someone's here with a musical or whatever," and he says, "Send him in." But then, when they go into his office, he's in the middle of a phone call and seems annoyed that they're in his office.
Yeah, he seems suspicious.
So, was he already in the middle of a phone call when he said, "Send him in"?
No,
he's arguing about how much money he's going to make out of his show or whatever.
He's trying to impress them. He's like, as we learn later.
I guess.
Oh, yeah.
I suppose so, because he's a criminal. Yeah, he doesn't produce shows on Broadway.
Yeah, so exactly. So he's sort of just like setting up like, I'm a very busy Broadway producer, and therefore
you're right. It's not even a real phone call. Yeah, and that's also why it's so easy for them to get in. Like if this was if this was the end of their this was them achieving their dreams, this would be a much shorter movie.
Yeah, they're not gonna pull this at Bernard Crawford's office.
Right.
Yeah,
tell you what.
Yeah, so like in the Muppet movie, it's got to be like 45 seconds like of them just walking,
Just,
like when they go into like Orson Welles,
yeah.
it like
It's
takes
a long
forever,
time.
like walking up, and then he turns around, and then they go like, oh, what? And it's like, don't, we're all here with you, Kermit, and like it takes a while for him even to say like, hi, I'm Kermit the Frog. And so I think I like the speed of this. I just think it's really funny that they go in, it's like Broadway, and now like we're gonna do the song, and then let us into Dabney Coleman's office, and then the same thing of like, hey, and I think he does it even faster.
Yeah,
but, like,
Kermit's just like we're gonna do a musical. It has a great opening number, and it goes like this, and then they launch into it again.
They do it again. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba.
And then you love that opening riff, all right?
Well, I love that we hear the exact same thing twice, right? Like Kermit doing his little intro. It's about two kids who come to New York, get married, and it goes like this, and then they do the same little opening both times, and both times they get interrupted.
Right.
And there's like, it's a lovely thing, like this interrupted song. Like, I think they do that, and they do it so quick and like make it so much fun because they're not going to do that song right now.
Right. And not really ever. Like they do a like slow. They do like the version. They do like the 2000s movie trailer, like slow remix version. At the end. Yeah. Yeah. But they never do like the upbeat.
And like, but this, I think that's to make it like live inside you, and so that you remember it. It's planted here so that you remember it. And it's like the song that you like, the really fun song that you didn't get to hear because they kept getting interrupted. And then finally that comes back, and like, you hear like the slow version of it, but that's also the moment that Kermit is now back in the film that makes you happy. And so like his kind of slow, like it feels really beautiful. And I just think that's set up so well.
Yeah, and you know that it really means something to the characters.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a song that you've been dying to hear at this point.
Yeah.
Right, that's for sure, yeah.
Doing it. So I do love that song.
Sure.
I love, like you said, like I love this version of the song. I love
this version of the song that we hear like the 4 bars
5
of.
Second, the 5-second version of the song is the one that really should be on a hit parade.
Right. They should have put it on. And is it even on the soundtrack? It's probably not. It can't be, right? There's it's not anything. It's not a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. But
out of context, it would actually be really funny to just have like twice this little like 4-bar riff.
Right. So then that's where we end here, is Dabney Coleman stopping them as they're just launching into the song. And we don't know what he's going to say yet, because that's where we end. So any other thoughts on these episodes before we go? Danny, I'll start with you.
How is it possible that this is the end of this podcast? The last, we just did 2 of them where we did like, what was it? Muppet Go to Movies and Fantastic Miss Piggy Show. And those were each like at least 75 minutes long. I think
those are, when it's an hour-long special, there's a lot more to talk about.
Right?
I'm just gonna say I feel a little cheated right now.
Oh no!
And I feel like we should be here for another hour discussing Dabney Coleman.
We will have you. Look, if you want to come on Coleman right along, all right.
I would love to.
We're going to talk about War Games next. All right, I'd love to have you on.
All right, I will be there.
All right,
I'll be exactly there.
But no, of course we will have you back during this movie.
Yes, I know.
If you want to come back,
yes,
I always do.
At any time, you are welcome to show up unannounced.
Great, awesome. I will do that.
You want to.
There will be a knock on the door.
All right, and it'll be you with your banjo.
Hello, my name is Danny, and I'm here to be on your podcast. I got a new song, and it goes like this. Wait for that. 2 days from now.
It's gonna be a thrill. Can't wait.
All right, I'm there.
All right, Ryan. Anything else?
2 things. In the March 7th draft, it mentions that in Martin Price's office, he has a bunch of awards, which we do see here, but it specifically mentions that he has something that looks like an Oscar holding a smaller Oscar. And Dr. Teeth says, hey, this dude must be important. Even his awards have awards.
Oh, that's pretty cute.
That's a cute joke.
Yeah.
And also, I just remembered looking at this scene of them doing their little song here again, because you see all the Muppets swaying back and forth as they start to do their little ooh. And I don't remember where exactly I heard this, but at some point in my Muppet fan travels, I heard that to this day, anytime there's a shot like that where Muppets are swaying back and forth, they always start by going to the right. And the reason for that is that Jim Henson could never remember like doing it a different way. Like if a choreographer came in or if they were trying to stage a scene and someone said, okay, we're going to start on the left this time, he could never keep it straight. So he just sort of decreed that Muppets would always go to the right when they start swaying back and forth. And that's still how they do it now.
Look, consistency is good.
Yes. And I wish I could remember where I heard that, but if anyone can come up with a source for that, please let us know.
Despite the like no applause that you just got, that actually is really interesting, and I'm glad you told that story.
I think it is.
Yeah, I know. I actually really do agree.
Yeah.
All right.
We just greeted it with like stony silence.
Right. We're both just like we're both just like we know stuff about Muppets too, Ryan.
You were just thinking about the next time that you have to sway back and forth, you're going to start on the right.
Let's start on the right. That's true. All right. So that with that, we will close the door on this episode. We will be back next week. In the meantime, you can always check out toughpigs.com on the internet, Facebook, Twitter. We're all over the place. Our theme music is by Stacey Rosen. Our logo is by Morgan Davy. Thank you to both of them. You can follow Ryan on Twitter at Ryan Roe. And Danny, remind us where we can find you online.
You can find me on my Dark Shadows blog. It's called Dark Shadows Every Day, and it's about a 1960s vampire soap opera. And it is rambling to its very long conclusion coming up by the end of the year.
What a thrill.
Yeah.
What a long journey you've been on.
An impressive undertaking.
It's a thing that I've been doing for like 6 years, yeah.
Which is about as long as you ran Tough Pigs, yeah? Like, or is it longer now?
I don't know. I'll have to go and look. I'll tell you next time I come back. I will tell you that story.
Great. But man, what a body of work, either way.
Yes.
All right. And thanks, as always, thanks for being here, Danny. Listeners, if you're so inclined, give us a positive review on iTunes and tell all your friends to listen to Moving Right Along. We'll be back next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.